Bowhunt or Die is being brought to you by Matthews, Lost Camo, Lone Wolf Portable Tree Stands, Hunter Safety System, Heartland Wildlife Institute, New Archery Products, Tinks, Carbon Express, Stealth Cam, Moose Utility Division, Lacrosse Footwear, Scent Blocker, Pine Ridge Archery, and Can Cooker.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another great episode of Bowhunt or Die. As you can see, Todd's not here this week. I was actually feeling a little bit bad for him because he hadn't shot a buck yet, so I let him go hunting. Now let's hope he can put this vacation time to good use. I know he's getting a little depressed or a little down because he hasn't shot a buck yet, but hey, things are just starting to pick up here in Illinois and there's still plenty of time left. Now, for this week's episode, we finally have another buck on the ground from team member Troy Spolum. You know, if you guys have been watching the last couple of episodes, it's been really slow all across the country. Guys just haven't been seeing bucks up on their feet. So finally Troy's out, the rut's starting to kick in, and he has an encounter with a great buck, actually one of the top bucks on his hit list for this year. So instead of sitting here and listening to me talk any longer, let's jump right into Troy's hunt and see how he does.
Alright, so I just got sprayed down with BTEC, finally got settled. Already had 3 deer move through, 1 small buck chasing a doe, and then a button buck came through. I was only able to get part of it on film, because I was still setting up. We got about a south-southwest wind today. This is the first time I've been in the stand. I'm self-filming Tim, I had to go home for the day. I'm looking for a deer we call Skyrocket. I know he comes up through this area. Haven't seen him in a while, but hey, cross our fingers. Maybe we can start getting them to get off their bums and moving around. It's only been the little buck so far, so we're getting close, maybe a week away, but you never know. Gotta be in the stand to get a kill. Last year, this was the day that I shot Rocky, so maybe I can get another deer on my 1-year anniversary. We'll see. Bowhunt or Die. If we can just get a big old boy to do that, we'd be in business. That was perfect. That buck is starting to wear out his welcome. He got me excited twice already. First time I heard him grunting out in front of me. Then he went off. An hour later, here he comes back, grunting behind me. Still exciting to see and awesome to be in the stand.
No. Well.
just happened. Oh man, he fell 100 yards out there. No track job. That is Skyrocket. Got his antlers. He doesn't have the greatest genetics, but we got his antlers. We saw him last year. He's at least a 4.5, maybe a 5.5-year-old 8-point. Not gonna score a bunch of points on bone, but God, that is the exact deer I wanted. I can't believe this is happening right now. Tim and I hunted hard. We've been hunting hard since October, or the October 1st or 5th or whatever, opening weekend. We've been out here every weekend. We took an extra vacation day today. And last year, this evening was November 4th was the night I shot Rocky. So this is my lucky day. Whew, man. Bow hunt or die, baby. All right, so I just went back, grabbed my dad, and came back out here. So we're gonna go try and find the arrow at the point of impact where I saw it earlier. Then we're gonna follow the bud trail, and hopefully he's only about 100 yards up where I thought I heard him crash and saw him crash. So come on, let's go find that Carbon Express Maxima. So I hit him right here. Right here's where I shot him. Here's another straight, big time. And there's the arrow. Kill zone. Busted off. Good penetration though, because that's on the back half. And then here. Hey-oh! There he is, baby. There he is. Smashed up against this tree. Look at that shot right there. All right, so it's November 4th. Exactly 1 year since I shot Rocky. Same afternoon. Tim and I, we've been hunting hard since October 5th. This afternoon he had to go to a Bears-Packers game, and I came out by myself, and this is the result. This is a deer we call Skyrocket. We've got his sheds from last year. We know he's at least a 4.5. You know, as you can see, he doesn't have the greatest genetics in the world, but I'm in love with 8 points. And these crab claws here are really cool. So basically, this guy was tending a doe, grunting, rubbing on a tree. You can see some of it here. Basically came right under me, and I was actually able to stop him after he came running past at 12 yards. Finally stopped him at about 37 and sent that Maximo Red with that kill zone right through the Boilermaker, man. Perfect shot. He didn't run 80, 90 yards and piled right up right here. So it's just a fantastic feeling and a great ending to a great story. This is the one deer I wanted. We have a couple of bigger ones on this property, but this is the guy I wanted, and I got it done. Gotta love it. Bow hunt or die, baby.
Well, that was a great hunt from Troy, you know, for a couple different reasons. You know, first, like Troy mentioned, 1 year to the day since he shot his first buck for Bow Hunt or Die. He shoots his second buck. I guess a little bit of bad luck, you know, on his part. You know, his cameraman Tim was up at the Bears game, which fortunately the Bears did win and beat the Packers that week. You know, but he had to self-film it. He did a great job, all in frame, all in focus. Made a great shot, did a good job on the recovery. So all in all, it was a really good hunt. And I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about Troy's hunt was his enthusiasm after he shoots that deer. I mean, we spent a lot of hours in a tree. We spent a lot of time away from our family. Sometimes we get a little depressed. Sometimes we can get a little down. But I tell you what, when that buck comes out and you make a great shot and you get it on film, there is no better feeling out there. And Troy really embodies that. So congratulations to Troy. That was a great buck. Next up, we're going to get a couple more doe hunts for you guys. You know, I know we've seen a lot of these this year, but like we always say, when the bucks aren't moving, shoot some doe. So we got two more coming up from Dan Richardson and Trevor Olson. Let's check them out now.
Well, we've got my decoy positioned about 20 yards from the stand. So this is what we're going to use for the night. I'm going to quick spray down with some heat pack. I'm going to use some Tank's Hot Shot here with the trophy buck mist in. Gonna make him smell like a buck. Well, it's the afternoon of November 2nd. It's a little breezy. We switched stands from this morning, just up about 100 yards. We didn't see anything this morning, so now we are perched in a different corner because the wind is a little bit better now that it's kind of switched a little bit. Got our decoy at about 20 yards. We're sitting over a green plot. We've got beans right off to our left, just in range yet. It's been a really lucky stand for me. It's November 2nd, so anything can happen. I'm optimistic. So stay tuned, let's hope we get some deer in front of us. For those of you guys that don't know me a whole lot, I do love to eat venison. Last year, I didn't kill a deer for the simple fact that we weren't seeing a lot of deer. I didn't know what to do. I mean, it's November 2nd. You just don't know if you want to shoot a doe during the rut or the pre-rut. Clearly, there's no bucks in the field. It's not happening right now. And I just put an awesome shot on it. Got a pretty good doe, so. That was pretty neat. Hey, nice work. Don't let her die. Well, we're back at the food plot where I ended up shooting my doe tonight. Just because we knew where she exited the field, I still want to come back and follow the blood trail because, number one, the arrow was still in it when it left, and number two, it gives you it gives your eyes a little bit of a training session as far as trying to find the blood along the way. So we are here, we're going to try to pick up the blood track, and hopefully the doe is at the end of the trail. Well, we're almost like the fence where she jumped. This frost is kind of eating a lot of the blood up. You don't see a whole lot of it. Like leaves that look like they're dried. Got dried and frozen blood on it. It's really tough to tell. I thought she did a cartwheel after she jumped the fence. She didn't make it very far. Well, we recovered my deer that I shot tonight, and it turns out it's actually a button buck. It's still gonna eat the same. Quite honestly, I didn't even know it was a button buck. I was kind of hoping that I wasn't gonna shoot the mama doe that had another fawn with her. There was another button buck in the group that was a little smaller than this, but either way, it was a successful hunt. I got a little more confidence. I didn't shoot a deer last year, so we have had an empty freezer as far as venison's concerned. So I'm excited to get back out there after a buck this year, and hey, bow hunt or die.
It's November 6th here in Indiana. It's been very, very slow about the last week and a half, the slowest year I can ever remember, other than the year that we had EHD. I don't know, it's kind of wild. The leaves are even hanging on a lot longer than they normally do. It's fairly warm this morning on the 6th. It's going to get up in the 60s today. It's only low 50s right now. These deer go in and out of this thicket. It's not really a bedding area, it's more of a travel corridor, and the bucks will use it to scent check the scrapes. I've got the wind in my favor for that, so most people think that they walk right up to them to check them. They don't have to do that. All they do is use the wind. They can be 80 yards from them. All they can do is scent check them. If they smell something they like, then they can go into them. But anyway, we're trying real hard. I've not even got a doe down yet this year. That's kind of a first for me, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. If a doe comes in and nothing's with her, I think I'll take a shot at her. It feels good to finally have something down. It has been so slow here in southern Indiana. I've never seen anything like it. This last week and a half has been terrible. No movement. This doe came in, was going to give me a nice 15-yard shot. For some reason, she walked to my tree, looked up at me once, and then she skirted around me, and I was able to stop her. And I had one little 10-inch window to shoot through. And I'm not sure if I clipped a limb or if I just pulled the shot, but the spine shot her and she went right down. I didn't have no shot after that, so I went ahead and climbed down, put another arrow in her. She's done. I'm going to have venison in the freezer. It's time to go after a buck. I have been after a buck, but just not been seeing any. Bow hunt or die. All right, finally, first one of the season on the ground. Nice sized doe, going to be some real good eating. I know my freezer is all but empty. I finally got to put the creed to work. Spine shot, not what I wanted. But it happens. But anyway, she's down. She's going home. We're going to get her cleaned up. And man, I'm ready to start doing some buck hunting. We got some rain coming in right now, and I can actually feel the temperature dropping just a little bit. This next week ought to be really good. The bucks will be up moving. I finally seen one small one this morning way out in the brush chasing a couple other does. But I had my mind made up. If a doe come in and nothing was following her and she give me a shot, I was going to take her. I was ready to put something down. So here she is. We'll get her cleaned up, get her tagged, get out of here before it starts pouring. Bow hunt or die.
All right, guys, we're going to, I guess, break down these hunts for you that you just watched. You know, in Dan's case, like he said, he was shooting through a pretty small window, and that shot just shows you, you know, how risky that can be when you do that. We've all done it. We've all been there. You got that little opening. You want to just try to sneak that arrow through there, and you don't make the best shot. Now, fortunately for Dan, he hit that doe in the spine, and she dropped on the spot. The one good thing about a spine shot is that you don't have to track them. Now, when it comes to Trevor's hunt, you know, he's out there with the decoy, trying to, I guess, reenact, you know, that awesome encounter that he had last year. Unfortunately, the bucks weren't on their feet, so he decides to take what he thinks is a doe. And, you know, from watching that footage the entire way through, before he recovers that deer, I thought it was a doe too. Actually, it was a pretty big-bodied button buck, and if you weren't paying close attention, it was hard to notice. Knowing now that it was a button buck, I go back and watch it. I can see it, but you know, I can see how it was easy to make that mistake. Not a deer that Trevor probably would have shot knowing that it was a button buck, but you know what? Things happen out there in the field, and like Trevor said, that deer is going to eat just as good as any doe that he would have shot. Next up, we're going to get a quick check-in from Clinton Fawcett. You know, him and Frank Clark have been down there in central Illinois. They got hit with EHD pretty hard, but they've had a couple really great hunts and seen some big deer, so let's check those out.
Hey guys, it's November 12th. I just want to give everybody a quick update tonight while we were in the tree. We've been hunting pretty hard since last Wednesday. Wednesday night I was hunting this field that I'm in tonight, and I saw a real nice 160-inch buck. He come out this cut. Tonight I'm lone wolf set over here, and I'm hunting him. He was a nice deer. He was just kind of out looking around, not really chasing does. Made a couple scrapes, just kind of out looking. That's been about the general consensus of what we've been seeing. It's been a weird rut so far. I just think it's going to be really late. Thursday night we had a real close encounter with a big deer that we call Ernie. He's one of the only mature deer left on my farm. We've definitely been hit really hard with EHD over there. I wasn't sure how bad it was because I haven't been in the woods looking for dead deer. We found quite a few in the fields. But by hunting over there, it's definitely a lot different than the years past. So I thought we had that deer killed. I was already thinking in my head how I was going to put Frankie behind him in the pictures, and a truck come by and bumped him off. So that's just part of hunting. We were just blessed to get to see him. We're going to hunt that deer pretty hard the rest of the year. Another deer that we had a real close encounter with was Sunday morning. We were out, and we had a deer that I call Cow Ripken. I'd hit the horns together, and he'd come into us. I had a hard time seeing him coming. Frank was on him with the camera. Real thick, real brushy. I seen him down the bottom and grunted at him, and he went behind a Russian olive bush. I never did get another look at him, but I thought he was coming. I just couldn't see him, and I could tell by Frankie's legs. He was shaking pretty bad, so I knew he was close, but I could never find him. Well, after he got out of there, I watched the footage back, and he was about 45 yards. Frank was between me and the deer, so Frank had saw him coming. He was a little bit higher than me. I never did get my eyes on him, but he's a nice deer. I'm not saying I could have shot him where he was standing, and the footage wouldn't have been the greatest anyways, but we're going to hunt that deer pretty hard the rest of the year too. So all in all, so far the beginning of November has been pretty slow as far as rut activity goes. Seems like the bucks are out, just kind of looking around. We haven't seen a lot of chasing yet. We're going to go back to work a little bit this next week and work in the mornings and start hunting a little more in the evenings and try to play this thing on out towards gun season. So hopefully tonight I'll get one killed, and you'll see the rest of this hunt on one of the upcoming episodes of Bowhunt or Die. Just everybody stay safe and hunt hard, and hopefully this rut starts to pick up and get a little better.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I was a little bit jealous of some of those deer that Clinton and Frank have been seeing. You know, it's amazing to me that even with the EHD and the amount of deer that they lost, some of those great bucks that they still have down there that they're chasing, they just haven't been able to get close enough to seal the deal. And I guess that's really what bow hunting's all about, right? You got to get in close on them. If they had a gun, a shotgun, or a rifle, they would have killed probably all of those deer. But at least for me, it takes a little bit of the fun, a little bit of the challenge out of it. Bow hunting's where it's at. You got to get close, and I know those guys are still going to be hunting hard. Hopefully their luck turns around before the end of the season. Now, before we get into the trophy photos, I did want to give you guys just a quick update on my last weekend. You know, the most important and eventful hunt of my weekend took place on Thursday morning. I had a really nice buck come in that I actually grunted in. A real nice 3-year-old, probably a mid-130s 8-point, 16 yards wide open. I stopped him, I shot, and when I shot, the lower cam of my bow actually hit my camera arm because of the angle that I was at. Sent my arrow off track, went right underneath him. Thankfully, I missed the deer and didn't wound him, but I don't know what I need to do here. I don't know who I made mad out there, but I just can't seem to catch a break this year. Second buck that I've shot at this year, and unfortunately wasn't able to put in the back of the truck. For all intents and purposes, I should be done and tagged out, but you know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. I'm going to continue hunting hard, and hopefully my luck turns around soon. Well, as always, we want to take a couple seconds to thank the people who sent in their trophy photos for this week's episode. John Norman Files, Brett Linden, Brian Ekstrom, and Zach Eubanks. Hey, congratulations, everybody. Once again, those are some great trophies. Now remember, if you want to see yourself right here in an episode of Bowhunt or Die, you can send us your photos on Facebook, Twitter, email them to info@bowhunting.com, or go to the bowhunting.com homepage and click on the Submit Your Trophy button. All right, guys, that's it for this week's episode of Bowhunt or Die. Now, I know you're all sad that Todd's not here and I'm having to do it by myself, but he will be back next week. Cross our fingers, hopefully with some footage of a big buck on the ground. Now, with that all being said, we do have a bunch of other great hunts that are coming up over the next couple of weeks. We already told you about Lindsay Highstand's buck. Richie Music shot a buck on film. Dan Richardson, who we just saw in this episode, shot a really nice 8-point buck on film. And actually a couple of our newer staff members, Josh Sturgill and Steve Flores, teamed up down in the mountain country and were able to put a nice buck on the ground. So we have a lot of great footage over the upcoming weeks to show you. Thankfully, the rut's finally starting to pick up here in Illinois. Hopefully a few more bucks hit the ground across the Midwest before it's all said and done. So you just have to check back next week right here in Bowhunt or Die for some more great bow hunting action.
In the meantime, don't forget to check out facebook.com/bowhunting for daily updates, news, photos, and other exciting information. We want to hear your opinions and your stories, so join us now and like us on Facebook.
Finally, we have another buck that's been killed on film to watch, because if I had to watch another show full of nothing but does, I was gonna have a heart attack. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? No. Can I start off by saying, hey, what's up, guys? I'm Justin Czar, your host for this week's episode of Bowhunt or Die.